I'm not my wife. I don't know everything. Said overload, didn't it?
It did.
Don't judge me since everybody just saw how much I weigh. This is what 60% of my time in the shop is now. I had something in my hand. Now I don't. Ouch. That's fourth time. Hello. Welcome back to Windy Hollow Garage. So today we're finally back in the shop. We've been waiting on some parts for a while and they have finally arrived. So let me show you what we're working on. So our Dana for Betty has finally arrived. Izzy is very interested in it. You can see we've had the housing shortened and it's got a spool installed, and this is actually a factory 411 gear, which is apparently about the best gear you can get. So this rear end actually came with a 411 gear, so it's in perfect shape, so that's what we're going with. So you can see we have the full rear end lineup here. So this is the 8 3/4 out of Betty, and so this is another Dana we're getting ready to have built. So interesting, you can see the difference in the housings. This one has a little bit of extra reinforcement right here. What do you think? Are you ready to get back to the racetrack? Yeah, he's ready to get back to the racetrack too. So you can see this Dana here has a little bit of extra ridge in it, whereas this one here doesn't have that. So that's interesting. I didn't know that. I guess there were different housings and things like that for the Danas that are depending on the model. This one came out of a 3/4 ton truck, and as far as I know, this one came out of a 3/4 ton truck as well. So must just be the different years. I haven't run the numbers on it, but you can see this is looks like brand new, ready to go. So today we're going to, well, Mom is going to install. We got our cover. We're going to go ahead and install the aftermarket cover because, you know, the factory cover pretty much looks like garbage. And then we've got our Caltrack spring purchase. So we can go ahead and set the rear end in the car today and get ready to start setting up pinion angle and things like that. So let's get to it. Are you ready? Let's go. All right. So first thing we got to do is pull our axles out of our 8 3/4. We're reusing the axles. These were brand new axles. I think they had like, I don't know, 20 or 30 runs on them last year. So we're going to reuse these axles, and we were able to find a spool for the Dana that's the same 30 spline, so you can use the same axles. Which saved us a ton of money, by like a ton of money. So that's gonna be first, and then we got to put the brakes all together and all that stuff. So we got a lot of stuff to do today. So all right, let's get to it. So one thing everybody's probably interested in is what is the weight difference between going from the 8 3/4 to the Dana. Now this is an 8 3/4 with the aftermarket case, so it's a little bit heavier duty. We don't have break-ins on either one, so I'll weigh them both before we get the brakes on. So let's go ahead and weigh it. I already went to the gym once today, but what the heck, let's get 2 workouts in. $362. So let's see what I weigh by myself. 147 pounds, okay. So don't judge me now that everybody knows that I weigh over 200 pounds. But anyway, the rear end weighed 147 pounds. All right, so we'll go ahead and swap the axles and then weigh the Dana with the cover on it. And that way we'll have a one-to-one comparison. So, all right, so we got our brake caliper hangers back on. So I think these are the Right Stuff kit, and it uses the GM metric calipers, is what we figured out. So we only had to put 2 studs in it, and now we're going to go ahead.
Sitting over there, like, went over in that corner.
Oh, there it is. I knew that.
Sure you did.
Yeah, well, that's the problem with getting older is you spend half your time in the shop looking for stuff you just had. So we're not exactly sure what these spacers do, but they were on the 8 3/4, so we're going to go ahead and put them back on this. I don't know if they just add strength for the disc brake kit or what it is, but they were on there before, so we're going to put them back on. If you know what they're for, put it in the comments. Let us know. Like I said, I'm not my wife. I don't know everything. All right, just like in the past, I think this is like the 3rd or 4th rear end build video we've had. Not using gaskets. I don't like using gaskets on these because I think they always end up leaking. So I'm just going with the black RTV. That's been around for a little while. It's not empty yet though, so this stuff's expensive now. It's like $15 a tube. We got one side gooped up, so we've already cleaned our gasket surfaces here. So go ahead and stick this on, and now we're gonna goop the other side. So for the new Dana, it's actually a 1/4 inch narrower on each side. So shout out to our good buddy Bob for building this for us. He is retired, so I can't give you his name to recommend him. But luckily we're able to talk him into doing stuff every once in a great while because he does the absolute best work of anyone, and he always treats us so reasonable, and he's just such a good friend, nice guy all the way around. All right, there we go. Yeah, the only thing we're worried about is because we did narrow it. So it's a total of 1/2 inch since each side is a 1/4 inch. So we just want to make sure that the axles don't don't hit in the middle. They shouldn't. I think from the factory there's like a 1 inch spacer that goes in there, and you can see there wasn't that much thread engagement on the 8 3/4. So I think we'll be fine. Bob thought we would be fine. So all right, so that's pretty much, we're going to do the exact same thing to the other side, and we'll catch back up in a bit. All right, so the axles went in perfect. This thing actually turns like pretty easily. Bob said it seemed like a pretty efficient, yeah, look how good that turns. Perfect. So, there.
Gasket.
No, what do you got there?
A very fancy, heavy-duty cover.
All right. So this is the Proform Dana 60 cover. I think it's like $145. But it is heavy duty. You want to flip it around. You can see it's got these braces that go against your. It's got little braces right here, and those go against the main caps right there that Bob actually milled down for us. So we give it a nice solid sitting. And that'll reinforcement, because we know that somebody here kind of likes to break everything. so it gives it a better chance to live. One other thing, this thing has, we gotta clean that surface first. So this rear end is actually going to be a 411. This is a factory 411 gear. And of course our 8 3/4 was a 391. So it may go a little bit faster because it's going to have just a little bit more gear in it. So she may get a little bit bigger wheelies this year.
A little closer to 1075.
Possibly 1075s, but yeah. The axles fit in there perfect, which is a relief.
Yep.
Spool works perfect, so we're going to go ahead and throw the cover on. It's getting late. The dogs are trying to hurt us because it's their dinner time. So we're going to go ahead and clean everything up, throw the cover on, and then we're going to weigh the Dana and see what the difference is. All right, we got the Dana all assembled here. We got our fancy cover on. So the bolts are all torqued to 25 pounds. And then these bolts here torqued at only 10 pounds. Which is 10 pounds is not very much. So we'll probably have to check those every once in a while to make sure they don't come loose. And so now I promised I would weigh this. It's pretty much in the same configuration that the other one was. So
Lift with your knees, not your back.
I know I did back yesterday, so my back is already a little bit sore, but it's fine. After half dozen trying to figure out how to weigh this so it doesn't max out our scale, I think we figured it out. So if we do that and then put it down like so, and
193.8.
I said 195 last time, so.
Yep.
So the other one weighed
140s. Yep.
So the Dana is
Definitely heavier.
right at 50 pounds heavier.
And we get to muscle that in later tomorrow.
And we checked it scientifically.
Okay. Signing out for the night. Doggos are hungry. He is persistent. And she literally keeps tripping over everything in the shop. But she's cute in her little sweater.
And just like that, it's gone to its home. All right, so we got the big Dana back under the car, all 195 pounds of it, without any catastrophes. So now we're going to go ahead. We got our shackles, which we got our CalTrack. These are CalTrack shackles, and we obviously have to get these welded in, but we're just trying to get it kind of sitting in the car now so we can sit it on the ground, and then we'll get these welded into place once we get pinion angle and stuff like that figured out. But for the moment, we're just trying to get it so we can get everything at least bolted back into place. Figure since we got everything apart, it's a good time to go ahead and clean everything really good. All right, so now we're going to try and get our little spring bolts into our CalTracks here, which I know the Dana housing is a little bit bigger than the 8 3/4 tubes. All right. So we used a little chain vice grip thing that was from my dad's way back in the day, and we're able to compress the hanger with that. So how about that? I thought that was pretty clever. Grandpa Rick to the rescue once again. All right, now we just got to do that 3 more times.
1 hour later, 2 hours later, 3 hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time cards.
All right, and just like that, Betty has a rear end. We got the Dana 60 all installed. We didn't even kill each other. No smashed fingers or nothing. So went pretty well. Pretty impressed. It fits perfect. The measurements we took ended up being perfect. Bob did a perfect job. So let's take a look. So Betty's tire would rub on this side every once in a while when we made a sharp turn. Usually turning off the track, you could hear it rub just a little bit. So we made it just a 1/4 inch more narrow. And so from the wheel to here is 1 5/8 inches. So, and it's the same on both sides. So that came out just about perfect. And under here we have 1 inch between the leaf spring and the tire. So that should be just fine. And let's see. And so we still have to put the brakes back together. And we still got to get our lube installed. Yeah, we still got to set the pinion angle. So we were able to get the U-bolts in okay. I think the other side I struggled with them just because I had them at a little bit more of an angle. That was part of the problem. These ones still need pulled down. You can see I haven't snug them all the way down yet. We still got to weld. We're going to set pinion angle, so that will be the next video, is probably setting pinion angle and finishing everything up. So we're going to get this welded right here and welded on the inside there, and it should be super strong. So we'll get that on both sides, and then we'll be ready to hit the track again. Thanks for hanging with us, and we appreciate every single person that watches. And if you haven't already, go ahead and click like. And if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, because I think like 80% of our viewers are not subscribed. So, all right, I'll talk to you later.